Every 15 minutes, 50 Americans are diagnosed with cancer. These are alarming statistics, and the stories are remarkable. Some are stories of triumph, and some are not. Some are heartbreaking. But these wave makers are making waves against cancer and giving more chances for hope. Swim Across America has granted more than $100 million since 1987 for cancer research and patient programs. Think of all the lives you've saved. They're making waves. Hope has no finish line.
The lure of helping to find a cure for cancer was all it took for several local and Olympic swimmers to take the plunge into Boston Harbor this morning. The swimmers, including 6 Olympic medalists, inaugurated the first Boston Harbor Lighthouse Swim to raise money for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. The 22-mile relay event ended hours later at Rose Wharf, where Mayor Menino was on hand to thank the athletes for their efforts.
You know, all of us standing here know somebody or are personally touched by cancer. And events like this get us one step closer to the cure.
So we gave it a shot in 1987 and had no idea that here we are 33 years later. We're over $100 million. We're 21 open water events, thousands of people, an incredible impact in terms of the cancer therapeutics, you know, the lives we've extended, the lives we saved. Never in our wildest dreams did we ever think that we'd be sitting here with this organization the way it sits today. We didn't want to just raise a lot of money and say, great, here it is, somebody do something with this. What we wanted to do is talk to some of the institutions that were our partners and find out really where is the biggest hole? Where can we make the biggest impact? And the model that we have is going into these top institutions across the country and helping their young investigators, the best and the brightest, physician scientists, get started, get seated.
You know, the organization is set up where all of the money raised in each local city stays local. You feel the direct impact of these doctors because they come to the swims and they're a part of that group. And it's one of the things I think that's made us incredibly successful. You know, the swimmers come back year after year after year and know that they're going to see the doctor that we funded last year and what they were able to do with the money that we gave them. It's been a labor of love.
The 3 words you never want to hear are "you have cancer." And it turns your world upside down, emotionally, physically, and all of the above, and all these thoughts go running through you. But if you do hear those 3 words, "you have cancer," you immediately want to hear "there is hope." And I would describe Swim Across America as an organization, a cause that over 3 decades has raised a lot of money that has been invested smartly into oncology research and patient programs that have met those 3 words, "there is hope," and will continue to provide "there is hope" for many, many more years to come.
God bless.
My name is Jedd Wolchok. I am the chief of the Immuno-Oncology Service at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and the co-director of the Swim Across America Laboratory. I first became involved with Swim Across America shortly after I started my postdoctoral fellowship here in 1997. Was told by the laboratory head at the time, Dr. Alan Houghton, that we had a new funder called Swim Across America, and that it was a very exciting group of people who mobilized in a grassroots way to raise money for innovative approaches to cancer research through community-based long distance and pool swims.
We've had fantastic leadership within these institutions in helping us find the areas where we can have the most impact. And we enabled these institutions to hire the right people and take the risks to get where we are today.
We obtain the funding that we need on a yearly basis from a variety of sources. Some of that comes from highly competitive government grants. Some of it comes from foundations, some philanthropic organizations, other governmental or civic organizations, and some of it from collaborations with industry. But the truth is that we are absolutely dependent on ongoing support from philanthropic organizations like Swim Across America for our quest to continue to make progress.
The funding aspect of what we do is so critical. It really is. And for all the risks that we do take, and some pay off and some don't, it's important that somebody, some organization is there to be able to take that risk. And they're calculated risks, but they're well thought out. When you think about our model, you have to understand that we're going into the top institutions in the world. It is important that we know that we're going to collect a lot of money from this community, and we're going to fund something that perhaps is so new and so innovative that others would not fund it. But we take that chance, and we know that we've got the right people. You take a gamble. It's part of it. But if no one is going to take a gamble with these scientists, nothing's really going to move quickly. I'm just amazed every year that we put up the calendar and we start to look at when the events are going to be. And then we start to hear about the work that's getting done at the institutions. We have more people joining us, more volunteers, more swimmers. We have new events coming online every single year. But it's when you look at the faces of the people that we're helping and you see them show up, how can you not come back and do it again? These events it takes a lot. There's a lot of planning and there's a lot of, a lot of work that goes into doing it right.
Without this kind of philanthropy, our ability to innovate would be severely limited. But the truth is that the amount of funding that is made available on a yearly basis is not nearly enough for us to do all of the things that we know we have to do. We are engaged in high-risk, high-reward research. At the time that we entered our now very long and fruitful collaboration with Swim Across America, we were one of the first groups to take seriously the idea of using the immune system to treat cancer. And so this was considered speculative science, anecdotal clinical observations, and rightfully so, not worthy of financial investment by many groups. However, we stuck with the science. We followed the basic science through to the clinic to try to understand what it would take to get the human immune system to recognize cancer better. That risky approach, without a firm foothold, was supported by Swim Across America. Immunotherapy is now established as a fourth pillar of conventional cancer therapy and is responsible for saving lives. We are in the area of high-risk, high-reward research. What do the next steps look like, and who is going to invest in that?
I have had the great privilege of working with Swim Across America for the past decade since it started. For the last 10 years, Swim Across America has been critical to growth of academic and research programs.
In terms of funding for cancer research, I think once someone has shown that a drug or a strategy can reduce the size of a cancer or has a chance of getting rid of a cancer, I think that there's a nice system for that. Unfortunately, all of the ideas, all of the work, all of the teams that must be built, all of the ideas that need to be tried and tested and vetted, that's where the funding gap is. There isn't a lot of money for big ideas. There isn't a lot of money for bringing ecologists, mathematicians, and oncologists together because it seems so out of the box. That's where philanthropy comes in.
And in line with all of the great work that Swim Across America does with immunotherapy, we've built on layers of research now. All I have to say is thank you to all of you for spending your Saturday morning, for training, and to Swim Across America, of course, for doing this with us. Thank you.
Swim Across America has been with me from the beginning. I was a couple years out of training and had a lot of ideas that were sometimes wild, sometimes practical. On the investigation side, Swim Across America has always been open to new ideas, and especially when different disciplines have been brought in, and especially when the ideas are high risk, high reward.
So I'm Sandy Anderson. I'm chair of the Integrated Mathematical Oncology Department here at Moffitt Cancer Center. Organizations like Swim Across America can come in and fund these kind of blue sky, out of the box thinking sort of research ideas, and then really give us a foot up so that when we then come to applying for those government grants, we now have this foundational funding that supported our science and gives us the backing to now move it to that next level. And without that, we're kind of swimming in very shallow water, struggling to get that higher funding. If someone was to come in and give me a big check and say, we could pay for new space for you guys, we could double your size, we could recruit new faculty, we could give them the tools they need to then work with our clinical colleagues, and of course the sort of infrastructure, computers and so on, to make that work. But ultimately, we also would need money to drive clinical trials, to take those ideas and implement them in the clinic. The big barrier to all of this progress is money.
So day to day for me as a cancer center director, I'm responsible for overseeing the research that we do that tries to innovate, improve the state of the art of cancer care, and also responsible for overseeing the education and training of the young people who will be the great stars of the future, who are going to hopefully cure cancer altogether. If you look at where the funds come to support cancer research, there's a significant amount of funds that come from the National Institutes of Health, the National Cancer Institute. And these are given to investigators who write grant proposals. It takes a while, a bureaucracy, if you will, to evaluate these proposals, to assign research dollars and the like. And they're innately a little bit conservative. They want to have a good sense that what you propose you can accomplish and will provide an incremental advance. When you get an idea that's leading to a product, a new drug or a new device, then the commercial enterprises can step in and support some of that research. So the real question you have is, where's the new idea going to come from? The higher risk research project going to come from, and who's going to support it? That's the kind of thing that Swim Across America supports. And very often it's a word we use in science a lot, it's catalytic. It changes something dramatically, takes an idea that was a germ in somebody's mind, turns it into a reality, and then that can be leveraged to get support from the federal government or to get support from commercial enterprises.
Hi, my name is Rick. I've been involved with Swim Across America for the past 10 years, mostly as the MC for the pool rally we do here in Boston every year. This swim became extra special because I spent last year fighting cancer. Cancer treatment is no joke. I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. It was, to say the least, the shock of a lifetime. What was comforting to me, despite all the shock, was that the message I received from all of my doctors was that we had a plan. There was a way to fight this, and we would go through some difficult times, but we would get to a finish line. And so I went through a difficult round of chemotherapy, radiation, and finally a surgical procedure. We've been involved with Swim Across America well before I was ever diagnosed with cancer. We are both swimmers and both been in and around the pool for many, many, many years, including in the Boston area.
So the initial diagnosis was a shock. It's really hard to watch someone you love go through a lot of physical, emotional pain, and to try to go through it with them, and you do as much as you can, encourage where you can, and just be there.
I've been running meets both from the timing perspective and from the announcing perspective for years. And as people have said, I'm the voice of Blodgett Pool. So it was a logical extension for me to get involved, and I was happy to get involved with an organization that was really so fantastic. There is a question of quality of life. For me, I was and am a relatively young and relatively healthy patient. And so the guidance I got from my doctors was, let's go after this aggressively, because we don't ever want to look back and say, wish we had done something more. We went at it with pretty much everything in the standard arsenal of treatment. There is nausea, there's discomfort, there's loss of appetite.
So each chemo cycle was 14 days. He would be himself about 2 out of those 14 days, and he was just trying to get through each day, but it was really hard to watch.
Being involved in Swim Across America, I immediately had a network of supporters who I could turn to very quickly, both in the organization and sort of what I'll call the extended family of Swim Across America. That gives a lot of hope.
And I think, you know, the immunotherapy that Rick is currently undergoing was approved for use with colon cancer 2 weeks before his before they discovered the recurrence of his cancer. So while the mountain seems really steep, we are very intimately familiar with how much an incremental improvement from one study can change. Every little bit really does make a difference for someone. And so I think that is both, it can be daunting, but it can also be inspiring in the sense that you never know what impact the drop that you put into the well is going to have.
A couple $100,000 grant at a hospital like Johns Hopkins or Tampa Moffitt or Chicago Rush, which are just some of our beneficiaries, that can fund anywhere from 1 to 5 or 6 research projects that otherwise would not be funded. They would be sitting on a whiteboard right here, a wish list. We wish we could fund 1 through 6. These are the ones that we think have the best opportunity for impact, the best, but we don't have funding for them. And you know what? They're going to sit on the whiteboard until we can get funding, until someone comes along and believes in this young oncologist right here and the idea that he or she might have, or the team might have, and it takes someone to step forward and say, we believe in you. We believe in you enough to say, here's a $50,000, $100,000 seed grant that we're going to provide to you, and we're going to take this off the whiteboard. And it's the highest risk, but it's also the opportunity for the highest reward.
You're going to get to $140,000. One more time, all those funds will stay here and go to your 2 beneficiaries, Moffitt and All Children's.
Swim Across America, because we were already involved, was kind of a family for us. It just made you feel not so alone.
Yes. With my recurrence diagnosis and the treatment that I'm on now, which is a newer treatment, was not even available to me 2 years ago. A treatment with a much better quality of life. It is much more targeted, and this is a treatment that had funding from Swim Across America that helped bring this treatment to market. When you're reminded every day of the difficulty of fighting cancer, that amplifies that fear and uncertainty. When you can escape that fear and uncertainty for a little while, that allows you to live freely.
No matter how much money you raise, it gives more back to you to be involved with a community like Swim Across America? What you're doing has real purpose and meaning.
The Swim Across America community is inspiring. When I'm sitting in the booth emceeing the Boston pool swim, I am moved and I'm inspired by the people who are swimming and the reasons they are swimming.
You don't have to be a millionaire writing a huge check within our organization to make a difference. I would say that every person that comes to each swim is making a difference. And really, it's an honor to be able to just be at the swims among all these amazing people, right, that are doing something for cancer research.
Swim Across America gets people from all kinds of different walks of life, all kinds of different community heroes, Olympians, donors, people that have been affected by cancer, and people that haven't been affected by cancer to care. I really appreciate that other people see why this work is important, and it continues to motivate me every day.
Swim Across America is gaining momentum at just the right time. This is the time to invest because we're really moving towards ultimately long lives and cures for more and more people, and this is the time to swim.
We started something that actually is saving our friends' lives and our family. And people see that and they feel that. And it's really important because that's the effort. That shows this works. The model works. And oh, by the way, we love to swim. We love to be in the water.
The next 5 to 10 years of cancer research, I really believe are going to be transformational. It does take fundraising. It does take money to do this research.